I work for the company Royma. My name is Gábor Szabó. And yeah, I call it improve the productivity of your Gigafactory. We announced it in TraWeBa as getting gray hair from stacking, electrode stacking, and on LinkedIn I posted something with sausages, but in the end you will see everything makes sense, all together makes sense. Royma, as I told you, is a Chinese company founded in Suzhou in 2013. At the moment we are over 250 employees, more or less 300 employees already, and very important, over 100 employees in R&D. So we develop and individualize our machines very fast and can do it also for sufficient prices. And we founded in China, and we work together in our construction, our developing of the systems with the battery manufacturers, and very close together with BYD and LG Energy and with CATL. CATL is the most important player. And here you see already the gray hair and the sausages. And the point is, when you stack electrodes, you have a lot of problems. And also when you put all parameters, if you have all parameters in green, you can still have stacking failures from nowhere. And this reminds me on sausages. I worked before in the food industry, 20 years ago in the food industry, and I had a challenge to handle such a package of sausages, like you see it here with a robot. And this was a nightmare because it's very, very soft and the form is not very stiff and there's no tension in it and nothing. You cannot really control it. And that's the same with electrodes because the electrodes are very often very, very soft. So you cannot really grip it or really with an airflow pressure or something handle it. So it's very difficult. And that's why you can get gray hairs if you are responsible for the stacking. And that's why, because you have such a lot of problems with the stacking, you have failures, and that's why you need an inspection after the stacking. The typical points where you look are the overhang analysis. In this case, you see a very proper, very clean overhang. This is okay. You can have a lot of failures after the stacking. It can be folded edges or some crinkle, or you can have a small crash or something which affects the electrodes. Here you see some foreign bodies. So that can happen a lot. That's why, because of the problems also in China and also in Europe, the Gigafactories start with an inline 2D inspection after the stacking. The inline 2D inspection looks at the first few very suitable. It's not very expensive. You can place it very easy after the stacking, and you have easy high throughput. But you have with 2D inspection and a high misjudgment rate with a lot of false positives and a lot of missed errors. The second step is that the companies put inline CT beside the lines, which have a much higher accuracy, and then you can analyze very accurately. But with the inline CT, you have no chance to get a high throughput. And that's why Royma developed together with CATL our inline 3D CT, which enables a high throughput combined with the high accuracy from the inline CT. And the effect for the productivity is so high that you get within a few months a full return of investment and you make real money. The only big disadvantage is that you have a bigger footprint than a 2D solution. And here you see it a bit in figures. Here you see the results, the measurement results, if you scan with 2D inspection a good stack and a bad stack. And you see here, anyway, where you put the threshold from the analysis, you have a lot of false positives and a lot of missed errors. And this is really a nightmare. The figures are dramatical, which I got from the customers, now up to 80%. Now here I've wrote only 10% or 10 up to 40%. To be a bit real, or that looks more realistic, but from Northvolt I heard 80% problems. If you use a 3D solution, you have a much more accurate measurement, and if you put the threshold in a zone where you don't accept any missed failures, you have only less than 0.5% false positives. And the figures from China, from the well-ramped up productions from CATL, for example, there we got the information that due to the change from 2D to 3D inspection, they increased their productivity about 2%, and that's a lot. And very important, you don't have missed failures. Cuttle announced that they don't produce or that they don't deliver a failure rate more than 1 billion sales or something like this. I'm not sure if it is true, but it's very important that you have a good inspection after the stacking. That's already my short introduction, and the call of action is very easy. I'm a salesman, so I can sell you the systems if you like it, and this is clearly the purpose of my appearance here.
Thank you very much. And yeah, maybe let me see you. Thank you very much for the very interesting presentation. And you showed that you are starting now with an office in Hanover. Maybe you could shortly comment what is your strategy or your goal of expanding to Europe, expanding to Germany?
Yes. So we don't expand only to Germany, we expand to Europe. Only Germany would be very overview market at the moment, and we opened the office last year. We are 3 salesperson at the moment, and we have 2 strategies. One strategy is to enable the European customers to get in contact with our 3D inspection technology and buy it for their production in the best way, already in the first equipment wave and not after the learning curvature. And the second strategy is that we have also normal laboratory CT, which we offer to the customers, no, for at-line or for end-of-line control, or also other industry, not only battery industry. But the main strategy is to sell this inline inspection for the battery manufacturing.